This meeting is being conducted in compliance with the Open Publics Meeting Act. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by advertisement in the Cape May Star and Wave, the Herald, and posted on the bulletin board at Township Hall.
Would Boy Scout Troop 87 please step forward and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence. Go up front, guys. Just walk across the front. There you go. There you go. Want to line up? Right there. Face the flag. Right.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Tom, you want to do the honors with this gentleman?
Or you want to do the roll call first?
That would count. You guys, just hang out for a second. 1 second, guys. Go ahead.
Councilmember Conrad.
Here.
Councilmember Craig.
Here.
Councilmember Douglas.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Lair.
Here.
Mayor Beck.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a deviation, slight one from the agenda. I'm sorry. We're going to pull our Life Scout, Josh Williams, is going to present council with an idea for an Eagle project and see if they approve of it. Mr. Williams.
Good evening, council members. My name is Joshua Williams. I live in the Villas. I am a Boy Scout in Troop 87. I currently am a Life Scout working toward becoming an Eagle Scout. I would like to propose my idea of a saltwater fishing line recycling bins for lines, lures, hooks, and sinkers. My goal is to cut down on the amount of pollution in our bays and the beaches, and the risk of harm this brings to our marine wildlife. Excuse me. Fishing line and steel hooks left behind in the marine environment causes a problem for animals who make their homes in and around the ocean. The materials in which these objects are made from are not biodegradable and can stay in the ocean for years. They are also a danger to humans, especially small children on the beaches. If granted permission, I am proposing to construct these recycling bins along Beach Drive in North Cape May, corresponding with approximately 6 of the jetties, starting with the first one being placed at Canal Park. I have drawings of what the recycling bins could potentially look like. Jason, if you could hand them out. My idea is to put these street side next to the existing trash cans with hopes the township can take care of emptying these for me. It would only take an extra 1 to 2 minutes at each stop, and that is why I'm coming here to council tonight. If I receive permission and the okay from council, I will present this project for approval to the Boy Scouts. I will also build 1 extra box and place it if the pier is ever built.
Thanks, guys.
Well, we know how I feel. I think it's a good project. It's building on the beachfront and helping. It's a good cause, and this is going to be actually possibly one of the first saltwater projects like this in the country.
Sounds good.
I think it's a great idea. Wish you all the luck with it.
Thank you. Great idea. Keep up.
Excellent.
All right, get to work. I'm on board. Great idea. we have a couple of certificates to present this evening, and I would ask that Dr. Gates and Mrs. Gates please step forward, please. We're going to honor the certificate of congratulations to the Seashore Community Church of the Nazarene. And I'll read the proclamation, and the good doctor is going to have a few words to speak. And the proclamation says, whereas in 1912, Reverend Horace Trumbauer organized the Rio Grande Pentecostal Church of the Nazarene with 13 charter members in the home of Mr. and Mrs. James Locke. Whereas Reverend Monroe Hand was appointed leader of the Rio Grande Church until he was officially named pastor, during which the church grew to 48 members, and with great personal sacrifices of the members, a lot was purchased on Church Street in Rio Grande. And soon after, a place of worship was built on the site, whereas in 1949, a new church building was begun on Route 9 and Myrtle Avenue under the pastorate of the Reverend Harold Berrien, and the new building was dedicated on October 5, 1952. And whereas in 1986, 8.5 acres of land was purchased on Seashore Road, and a new church building was erected and dedicated on May 7, 1995, and the Irma Church of the Nazarene was renamed the Seashore Community Church of the Nazarene. Now therefore, the mayor and council of Lower Township are both honored and pleased to congratulate the Seashore Church of the Nazarene on 100 years of dedication to the people for whom they have served. We absolutely congratulate you. And we were just talking beforehand, and the doctor can explain a little bit. We appreciate your community service. I think more than anything, that's when I think of your church. I think we all kind of think of your outreach and how you're interested in helping neighbors. Been that way since I can remember, going back in the day. My granddaughter went to preschool over there, and I remember 15 years ago or whatever, going in there and seeing how you interacted with the community. And in particular with the recent storm that we had, just for a moment, if you don't mind, Doctor, could you explain your outreach in reference to that, the resources that you have?
Sure. First of all, I want to thank Council and Mr. Mayor for your cooperation with us down through the years. We are a community church, and very much involved in the interest of helping persons in our community have a better quality of life in many ways. This recent storm, I think it is a blessing of God that it wasn't worse than it was, and our hearts go out to those who lost property, our businesses that have been disrupted. They are a major concern to us, and our prayers are with them. On Monday morning at 9 o'clock in the morning, the International Church of the Nazarene had their emergency response team ready to come in, and we connected with both the township and the county and the state officials, letting them know that we were here, generators and those kinds of things, all work teams that are ready. Personally, as a local church family, we have our missions teams that were prepared to do any work requested of us by whomever would bring in a request, whether it was an individual family or whoever it might be. We had some work being done even on this last Sunday, and we have several other homes that are contacting us, and we're working with them. We believe that we're going to see a bit of a difficult winter for some of our families, and we're doubling, almost tripling the size of our food pantry and our clothes closet outreach. And people have come to know this particular church as a church that if they're in trouble, they can come and see. We had some indigent persons come. They didn't know where to go during the storm. We took care of them immediately, made sure that they were in safe shelter and in a place where there would not be any harm. But we continue to seek to serve this community, and we're very proud to be a part of this community for 100 years. That's quite a long time. Our church was founded as a denomination in 1907, so we were only 5 years old as a international denomination when this church was founded. So Seashore Community Church of the Nazarene is right in the very beginning of who we are as Nazarenes serving the community. And thank you so very much for this kindness. It's very, we appreciate very much you recognizing us. God bless
It's
you.
our honor to do so. We appreciate what you do. Hold on, Doctor, we're coming down. Doctor, we're coming down. Oh, yeah, okay.
You're going to sit.
I should help.
Okay, Doc.
Thank you so much.
Our honor, our pleasure. Thank you for what you do. And here's your plaque to hang us. And we'll turn it around so you can see the one over here. There you go. Smile pretty then.
Trying to do.
Again, thanks a lot. I appreciate all your efforts. Thank you for there you go. All yours. See you soon. Okay. Now we have one more certificate to give out. This guy hasn't been here 100 years. He is an icon nonetheless. Unfortunately, I think he's not here this evening. We're going to present the certificate for Joe Cirencione. Frank, are you out there? Frank Colorado. If you would step forward, please. And you can blush and do all that as we honor Joe, and you're standing here instead. Okay. Say, aw shucks. It says, whereas Joe Cirencione has served the residents of Lower Township since 1975 in the capacity of teacher, principal, superintendent, and interim superintendent, and whereas Joseph Cirencione has been involved in many Lower Township community organizations and served on the board of organizations such as the historic Cold Spring Village, the Municipal Alliance, and the Naval Air Station. And whereas Joe Cirencione has touched the lives of so many of our children in such a positive way that we will always be grateful to him. Now, therefore, the mayor and council of the Township of Lower deem it an honor and a pleasure to congratulate Joseph Cirencione on his retirement and wish him the best in all his future endeavors. And I know, speaking for all of us, that is sincere. He's done a lot for this community. He certainly is an icon and somebody we all respect. Council, should we just give him this plaque, I guess, or do you want to go down? You got a photo with Frank? You don't have a mask with Joe's face?
I got a Spider-Man mask.
Trick or treat this Joe.
I'm sure Joe would be appreciative. I know he's appreciative. He's going to express his appreciation and his gratitude to the mayor and council.
Thank you. Thanks again. See you. Okie dokie, Smokey. Work session. Review of consent regular items. Council comments. Public comments on the consent agenda.
Approval of minutes from October 15, 2012, from Resolution 2012-258 through Resolution 2012-261.
Do I have a motion to approve in a second?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Councilmember Conrad,
Yes.
Councilmember Craig,
Yes.
Councilmember Douglas.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Lair,
Yes.
Mayor Beck.
Yes.
Resolution number 2012-262, a resolution authorizing the final payment due November 4th of 2012 to Lower Township Rescue Squad as per agreement. It's $35,000 to be released upon receipt of their audit.
Council comments? Open up for public comments. Close the public portion. Do I have a motion to approve in a second?
Motion to approve 2012-262.
I'll second it.
Councilmember Conrad,
Abstain.
Councilmember Craig,
Yes.
Councilmember Douglas.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Lair.
Yes.
Mayor Beck.
Yes.
Ordinance number 2012-20, an ordinance amending Chapter 7 entitled Traffic of the Code of the Township of Lower. This is regarding handicap parking space on the street, allowing for a space at 221 East Matthews Avenue. This is the second reading and public hearing. This ordinance has been advertised and made available to the public.
Council comments, questions, concerns? Open up to the public. Close the public portion. Do I have a motion to approve in a second?
Make a motion, we approve ordinance 2012-20.
Second.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Craig?
Yes.
Councilmember Douglas?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Lair?
Yes.
Mayor Beck.
Yes. Move down to administrative reports. Move on to council comments.
I have one. Tonight, the Boy Scouts are here to learn about communications and citizenship of the community. Citizenship of the community, it takes a special meeting tonight after last week, and I want to talk about it for a few minutes. Again, we were mostly lucky with a severe storm here in the township. And I give credit to all the citizens of our community for how smoothly and quickly we were able to get back. I did say smoothly, I did not say perfectly. We do have some issues that need to be addressed, or attempt to address anyway, and some that unfortunately we cannot address as a township, no matter how much we may wish to. I especially, as will all of council I'm sure, want to thank all of our emergency workers who left their families and friends behind to help us in our time of need, before, during, and after the storm. This will include, but not limit to, and I will not use names, our police department and the dispatchers, Irma Fire Company, Town Bank Fire Company, and Phyllis Fire Company, all of whom were not there only as volunteer firefighters, but they opened their halls as shelters of some nature for our citizens and our workers. I also want to thank the rescue squad, animal control, and the animal shelter. Our acting manager of the day, she did not want me to say that, our emergency management coordinator, his deputies, and all of our emergency management team, the CERT team, the nurses that staff the shelters, one of them is here, I believe, and Public Works, and all the other volunteers that assisted our shelters with radios or whatever other capacity. I want to thank all the families of those emergency workers whose loved ones left them behind so they could help us. I want to thank the residents for following the curfew during our state of emergency. That had greatly assisted our emergency services personnel having the streets clear and able to respond as they needed to. A special thank you to those three mothers who within a few days' time set up a relief effort for everybody that was less fortunate north of us. They gathered a great amount and shipped it. These people lost almost everything. And down here, in 3 days' time roughly, they got together a large quantity. I want to thank Phyllis Fire for also hosting that and assisting, and the scores of children that came door to door on their day off from school and everything else, helping collect donations for these unfortunate people. I know council all donated, as did thousands of you. For that, I have to say our community again came together as one, and I'm proud of it. I want to thank everyone. This is what citizenship of the community really means, when we all come together for the betterment of all. Tomorrow, though, is another part of the citizenship occurs, Election Day. Thankfully, the politics are over. And we only wait the results tomorrow night. Then we move forward with what way the voters decide. Nothing said or done tonight, I believe, will change anything tomorrow, so let's sit back, thank God for sparing us during the storm, and enjoy this night, as tomorrow will be stressful for a few of the people up here. And please, go out and vote, which is the right and responsibility of every citizen.
It's pretty tough to follow that. I think Tom pretty much summed up everything I was going to say myself. We were very fortunate as a community. I think everyone knows that. I can't tip my hat to the emergency responders, and that's a blanket of them all, the police departments, the fire departments, our EMTs, our CERT people. And Tom mentioned the three young women who got together an absolutely major food drive. If you had driven by the Village Fire Company anytime on Saturday, it was just absolutely a moment to take pride in, because there was just hundreds of people dropping off tons of food. And I think they should be honored at some point in the future, Erica Young, Heather Gray, and at Deanne DiCarlo. They're the three young ladies that in less than, I guess, 72 hours put together an incredible food drive for our people, our fellow residents up north. And it was funny. I want to mention this because I went down to the dollar store and I ran into Eileen Christ, who had a huge thing of food and everything under the sun, and Tom was in there with a basket filled with food and toiletries, and my basket was filled with all kinds of stuff, and a mother and her two little boys are in there. And little boys are being little boys, they're picking candy up and they're picking up tasty cakes, and the mother's going, honey, this is for our friends up north. And the little boys put the stuff back and said, well, what do we need to get? And she's pointing out, get that soup, and it was just nice to see that even a 5- and a 6-year-old understood what the mother was attempting to do. This community should be very proud. They came together, and with that said, it was a very, very proud day for Lower Township.
Well, they both have pretty much summed everything up that we need to say. The community came together as always, and the response was unbelievable. And it continues. I mean, I don't think it's stopped at this point. There's a lot of people. I have staff members that are actually in the areas of Long Beach Island, that area, and they said it's bad. It's bad. And they're asking, you know, anybody that can help and bring forward, you know, they still need a lot of assistance, help. And these are people, our National Guards up in that area. They're working along with a lot of the, I know I've heard from different local community fire departments, they've been doing shifts up there and helping out in all the areas where they can. But the support continues, and you know, we also have to support our own community too, because a lot of areas that have had some damage, have lost some products. You know, everybody in our community is also working together to bring our neighbors back to where it was. It's going to be a long time up north getting back to a normal state, but I think the response, and you see it locally in our Facebook messages that people are putting out. There's more and more people from our community going up, serving food, you know, providing help, assistance, building, working on cleaning up. But we have a great community, and our community always comes to the rescue for help. And I'm glad to be part of it.
Everyone has said, and I agree with what everyone has said. I mean, that's what we do as Americans. We persevere and we overcome adversity, and that's what makes us the greatest nation in the country. And as all these guys are, I'm proud as well to be part of such a great town and such a great community. And I also like to recognize Dr. Gates once more, and Mrs. Gates. I'm proud to serve with Dr. Gates on the board of directors with the Seashore Community Church in Nazarene. And through Dr. Gates' leadership, our church does extraordinary things in this town, and most of the time it is not publicized, but it's the people that we don't run into every day that we help, and people that need food and clothes and those types of things. So I just thank you, Dr. Gates, for your leadership, and it's invaluable to this community.
It's almost hard to put into words, you know, what's going through at least my mind on Monday night. I've got 23,000 people out here, and I'm sure council feels the same way, and we're responsible for them. And you know how it's 2 years in a row that we kind of dodged a storm that could have done incredible damage to this town, and you're really grateful for that. And you see what's happened. You see on TV what the next day what happened up north. When I was out with Richie Harron, the OEM guy, we're all over. But when you see that, and you just say to yourself, that could have been us. And I think there's the recognition, as I said to Dr. Gates before, that we're one storm away from, rather than giving food, to receiving food. And that's really scary. And yes, I'm proud, as you can possibly be. I think a lot of us were over there at the Villas Fire Company on Saturday. I went over to drop off a couple of canned goods and ended up getting drafted in a certain way, just trying to help. And then Mike came over and some of the council was over there. The point I'm saying is that yes, we do respond as a community. Yes, we do recognize our responsibilities to others. And yes, we do pray. We pray not only to be spared, but to be thankful after being spared. And we do recognize all those people who went out of their way, in some cases risking their lives to make sure others are safe. But I'll tell you, when that storm speeded up, I was one happy mayor. And it went north, and you know, it's a double edge, because on one hand, you're happy that we're not getting it, but there's the realization that within your joy is the pain for other communities. And that's hard to reconcile sometimes. It's difficult, but it is. But I think we plan at the next township meeting, with council's permission, to reach out to those people who did put themselves out there and to have them come in. You know, I saw, I think Rich and Penny were here earlier. I'm not sure if they're still here, but I mean, they put the night at the shelter. It just was an incredible experience, but it brings out the best in this town, and for that we're grateful. We'll move to call to the public. If you have something, a comment or a question you wish to come forward, please come forward, state your, Mr. John.
John Skronsky, 607 Arctic Avenue. I'd just like to advise mainly Mike Bowl, I guess, but also council. I travel Sandman Boulevard a lot, and since they redid the road, the section from, if you're heading towards the ferry, or towards the parkway, the section from Seashore to where Route 9 interjects is now 2 lanes. It used to be 1 lane. And that's okay, but they have a sign with the arrows pointing left or straight. They have the sign right at the intersection rather than before the intersection. And many times people get confused and they cut in front of you trying to get to the parkway. So I think that sign needs to be moved back more to give people advance notice of
Thank you.
what's happening. Okay,
Thanks for
thank you.
bringing it to us. Is there anybody else? Yes, sir. No, this gentleman here. Say, come on, George. Come on.
Hello, George Doherty, Seashore Road in Irma. A couple things. With the storm, I had a power outage for 24 hours. I'm sure other people did, but I've mentioned it before. My grid seems to go down a lot more often than other places. You know, I don't know, did anybody else lose power for the storm?
The whole airport.
Well, you're right, my bad, yes, right down. But I've been trying to get in touch with Atlantic Electric to tell them about there's another problem. You know, every time there's a heavy rain, I mean, the wind doesn't even, you know, I was looking out when it went down at like 2:30 on Monday, and the trees weren't even moving yet from the wind. It was heavy rain, but the wind wasn't even there yet, and my power was down. And then I found out the next day there was no trees down. They just finally turned the breaker back on, and it all came back on. So there was no actual problem. I've had a problem since, you know, for years now. And I'm trying to get a hold of somebody at Atlantic Electric, and that's just, you know, there's nothing I can do. They're basically, I'll put a tag in and repair it. I said, no, I'm not in that, you know. I try and explain it, and nothing. Can one of you guys get in touch with them and try and get a representative here, and maybe some people would like to talk to them and
Why
explain?
don't you talk to the manager and see if we can.
Yeah, stop in tomorrow, get me the information, and I'll get a hold of Ronnie Town, who's our liaison to council, and maybe we can get you some action.
Maybe
Yeah,
she
it's
can
just
talk with you.
consistent. Every heavy rain, it goes down, and they turn it back on. The breakers on Route 47. They go there and turn it on, usually right away, like within an hour. This time, because they had out-of-town guys from Tennessee and all over the place, they're saying, this is 4 phases, we have to go look for the down tree. And I'm like, I promise you, there's no down tree. You just have to turn the power back on now that the rain subsided. But
We'll stop in tomorrow, we'll get to the bottom of it.
Okay, they couldn't do anything, but I guess, and the second, yeah, if you can help me in that. Second thing is, I thought I saw some of the property transfers. Did we buy the house right next to
Yes,
Code
we did.
enforcement?
Yes, we
Okay,
did.
why did we buy that anyway, do you know?
Well, for a couple reasons. I think, I'm not going to speak on council's behalf, but I think a couple reasons. Make sure in the future, if we need it, we have it. We don't get boxed in, and any potential vendor could be there, tattoo parlor or whatever business, and you have the county senior center right next door. So
That's where we own the whole track.
yes, and it was a good purchase. It was a reasonable price, and I think council did the right thing.
Okay, I just wasn't sure if we were going ahead, and that brings me to my other point. I didn't really hear anything about the committee that was checking out the public safety building at the airport.
Well, that report was given 4 or 5 months ago.
Okay, I didn't know anything about it. Could you, I might have missed it. In the summertime,
Well,
I work a lot. so-
yeah, there was a couple of different recommendations, and rather than go through them individually, but the recommendation was made that at some point in time to bring the police back over this way. So-
I'll be happy tomorrow to give you a copy of the report. if you'd
Right,
like.
if you come in, I'll give you a
Remember
copy.
the other,
of the
I'll give you a
final.
copy of that report.
Okay, yeah, because I didn't know if we were doing, I didn't hear the
Well,
results.
it has the potential to be tie in with that too, but that report was given.
Because I kind of went to the court on a real heavy rain day. I wanted to see about the roof.
Right.
I heard the roofs were bad and all that.
Right.
And I went over to the court, and that area, no leaks. It was raining for a couple hours before that. I just wanted to check, and
Right.
I didn't hear anything, so I
Okay.
didn't know what the report was. And, let's see. Oh, yeah, just so you know, to the intersection at Breakwater and Seashore, where I'm at, with power off now, because that's so much more traffic, it was like watching like a Frogger video game. I mean, cars were just gunning and running. It was really dangerous. So that's another reason we should get the electric company to do something about that.
Traffic light went out.
Oh yeah, it was out for 24 hours. I mean, and Tuesday, it wasn't bad Monday because nobody was really on the road. But Tuesday, we didn't get power back till about 3 o'clock, and everybody was on the road. It was just hectic. It was crazy. I did call the police dispatch, and they said we just have so many people all around doing stuff trying to get this back in. We don't have anybody to send out there. So, but it was a little hairy out there. I was shocked.
Right.
You know. So just so you know, that's a big concern. Was the actual light at Route 9 and Breakwater Road was on for the whole storm. That light was working and operable the whole time.
On a different power.
Yeah, even if they could, at least get that tied to that one, and this way it won't be on that grid that goes out all the time, you know? It's just, like I said, I can stop by tomorrow. Well, tomorrow's the election day. Anyway. So you're off
Right.
tomorrow. I think you're off.
Stop by
tomorrow.
Wednesday,
Wednesday, okay.
okay?
All right. And
We'll
another
talk to
thing.
Atlantic Electric about the other item we'll mention about the traffic light.
Okay, because that's a serious, it was dangerous. I mean, I watched it the whole time. It was very scary. And then another separate note I just want to mention, I'm running for Lower Township School District, and if you guys want to vote for it, you would get rid of me a lot less often. You'd see me up here probably, so it might be.
Don't tempt me. All right, George, good luck.
Mayor, Council.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tom, do you want to come up?
As always, Bill, listen, I had the opportunity of sitting with you gentlemen or tonight one time, and I just want to say, no matter what happens tomorrow, the most important thing is that everyone votes their conscience. I think all of you feel you've done the best you can, and I have no qualms about that. Being a veteran, I remember how difficult it was for us to vote sometimes back in those days. And all the veterans and all the active members to give their lives for the country, I think we owe it to them that we have our children, our grandchildren, realize the importance of the right that we have earned because of this to vote. And I wish you all good luck.
Well said. Thank you. Anybody else?
Steve Bertino, Bills. I was just wondering what the latest on that pier project was.
Well, we're still waiting on some things from the state, but it's probably going to be coming up within a week or two that we'll get some kind of answers.
Okay, any consideration on, instead of making a pier and maybe dressing up the water pipes that we have on our beach right now, instead of putting that money towards a pier, actually putting a platform on those water pipes to make it visually more pleasing for our beaches and our beach goers, instead of seeing these big sewer pipes going down to the beach.
Well, if there's a committee and they hold public meetings, and that's probably whatever the committee recommendation is will come back to council.
and.
The council's not on that subject right now, it's within the committee's.
But as a good idea,
Okay,
wouldn't it be good to put the money towards dressing up a visual problem we have, instead of actually putting money towards a pier?
The money's appropriated for the outfall lines. As a matter of fact, council may not be aware, we've had some minor changes we're going to make with these outfall lines due to the storm, with some of the beach erosion. Gary Douglas, our Public Works Director, was here, he's here tonight. We were discussing it early. But there's a certain structural way of doing those outfall lines that's designed by our engineers. And it may be a safety factor of what you're suggesting, making a pier on top of those
Right
pipes.
on. But do you know that for a fact?
I don't know that for a fact, I'm not an engineer, but
We think it's a
you're,
good idea?
I can't give you an opinion, but I'll pass it on.
Yeah, I've heard that before. Okay.
thank you.
So, now I'm not done. And I was also wondering, the bulldozers in front of Coxhall Creek on the bay
Mhm.
that are all spread out, and what is that all about? So when you look down at the marshes, all you see are these bulldozers spread out all over the place.
Well, the MUA was down there, I'm not sure, Gary, is that still MUA equipment down there, or is that still the,
It's actually the county mosquito department, their machinery where they're finishing up the watershed project.
okay.
They've been sitting there for like 2 or 3 weeks. I just wondered what on earth was the motivation to sit there and block all that with those big, ugly bulldozers, and especially now with what just happened, what bulldozers represent. And it'd be nice to see what Guide gave us instead of bulldozer. I'm not sure what their motivation was, but that's the MUA. And also, I was wondering, with the flags that are going through Lower Township right now, that say welcome, which was a really good idea, but it would be really nice to see Villas in Villas, and to add maybe, because the welcome's such a generic, and such a, it almost looks like a political sign, welcome to what?
Are you talking the ones that the Chamber of Commerce put in?
No, through the streets, there's a blue lamppost with flags.
That's the chamber.
The Chamber of Commerce
Okay,
did it,
okay.
we didn't have anything to do with
Well,
it.
they look nice, I think it's a good idea, but wouldn't it be great to see V's, like in Villanova, or some of these artisan communities, which really look nice, and get that warm feeling when you go into these
Well,
towns?
these signs, they expand through all sections of the township, up through North Cape May business community also, and they're going to be changing them, I understand, to a season's greeting
Seasonal thing,
real
yeah.
real soon with the Christmas
Great.
holiday
I
up
think-
on us.
Okay, and that's a great idea.
And it's their funding, the Chamber of Commerce, the business community raised the money. So it's up to council, but I don't think they want to direct them how to do their
Yeah,
banners.
it's always good to see, that's a nice idea.
I'm sure they'll hear what you,
No, I'm passing it on to you guys.
yeah, sure, it's a
So,
great
okay,
idea.
Another good idea.
Another good idea.
Okay, and especially in Villas, because we have no representation, but we're getting taxed just as heavy as everybody else. So when we go into town, you see a sign this big, it says entering Villas of Lower Township, and then right behind it, there's this massive sign that says Lower Township. Go up to Town Bank, you see a big Town Bank Hall sign, but there's nothing that says Villas. It seems to be something that we're trying to keep undercover, or just keep it quiet. Like, I don't understand why we don't really bring our town up a little better than it is. Nobody's doing it. There's nothing. There's no signs. There's a sign this big that says Villas. What's good?
Well, there's, as we're speaking, there's a couple of different things about signage that's coming, including the Bay Shore Heritage Byway signage. So, I mean,
They're politically motivated.
they're not, it has to do with the trail, it's not,
Which is great. I'm really happy for you guys, but I get really mad when I hear people putting down Villas, New Jersey, who don't live in Villas. I think there's a lot more educated people, and there's a lot more going on in Villas than we're getting credit for, and we're paying taxes for.
well, it's one of the reasons why we redirected the byway to the Villas area, because we
Right.
are proud of the Villas area.
Yeah, but
And that's exactly what
badging's everything.
we brought-
Badging is everything.
Pardon me?
Badging, how you badge your city, how you represent it. I mean, when you pull into the town, your first impression, what do you see? You see a big water tower that says, what's it say? What does it say? LTMUA on one side, under
Home of the
American
best
flag?
sunsets.
Only the best side, and not to be funny, but the sun sets on the entire Western Hemisphere. So, it's like, well, I don't think we're looking to bring out the best of our city, but we're looking to politically, just like the Fishing Creek School. It's like there's such a big motivation to push that, push that, push that. Well, it's a political thing, because the people who are doing it are running for office. So.
Do you believe that?
I think the building's beautiful. I think the building's really beautiful, but yeah, you bet, I think that's a political motivation. There's nothing saying Villas, but you're gonna push Fishing Creek School that hard?
All right, thank you.
Okay, and where's, Mike Donahoe?
Mike Donahue has to be excused tonight. He has prior commitment as partners here
And
tonight
it's
representing
great
him.
to see, I'm sure you represent, your firm very good, but how many days has he missed?
I don't know how many days.
We don't-
I'll tell you where it's at. It's at Dennis Township. I mean, you're obviously, there's a storm. Dennis Township had a meeting, he was afraid it would run over, so he asked me to come.
That's
this.
fine, but my question was, how many days has he missed?
I don't know how many.
And how much are we paying the guy? How much is he repaying him?
Well, they're both of the same firm, no matter if Mr. Donahue's here or Mr. Blaney's
They're
here.
not paid any more.
They don't get paid anymore,
Contract
and the firm gets the same amount of money. The exact dollar, if you come to my office tomorrow. I
But
can
we
tell you.
hired him?
I'm sorry?
We hired him?
The firm.
Okay, and why do we see him?
I'm sorry?
Why do we see him here more often?
Well, I don't want to get into a long discussion about it, but Mr. Blaney's here a lot because we've been doing labor negotiations over the last several months, and no need to have them both here.
No.
So when we're doing closed sessions a lot of times after the meetings, it's no sense having Mr. Donahue here and Mr. Blaney here when Mr. Blaney can represent and do, and then brief counsel and closed session on labor negotiations.
I don't think we're getting enough out of our money.
Okay, thank you.
Have a great day.
Anybody else? Close the public portion.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.